It's 9:47 on a Tuesday morning. You're staring at a stack of resumes so thin you could read a newspaper through it. 3 months of job postings. 12 applicants. 0 qualified. Meanwhile, you've got 3 employees doing the work of 5. They're burning out, but hiring feels impossible right now, and firing seems even worse. Welcome to the paradox of 2026. This is Small Business Signals. Here's a number that'll make you feel less alone. 32% of small business owners have job openings right now they cannot fill. Nearly 1 in 3. But here's where it gets strange. Among those actively trying to hire, 87% say they're getting few or no qualified applicants. 87%. So jobs exist, people exist, but they're not connecting. And if you're stuck in this gap, today we're going to help you figure a way out. Let's back up and understand what's actually happening in the labor market, because 2026 isn't normal. It's not a recession. It's not a boom. It's something weirder. Economists are calling it a low hire, low fire environment. Most small businesses aren't expanding headcount, but they're not laying people off either. According to Commonwealth Payroll and HR's analysis, businesses are essentially pausing major workforce decisions while costs and policy uncertainty remain high. Think about it from their perspective. Tariffs might change. Interest rates keep shifting. New policies land without warning. Who wants to make a 20-year hiring decision in that climate? But here's the catch. Work still needs to get done. Orders still come in. Customers still call. The business doesn't pause just because hiring does. The NFIB found that 15% of small business owners now cite labor quality as their single most important problem. That's above the historical average of 12%. Not labor cost. Not labor availability. Labor quality. The people applying just don't have the skills these businesses need, or at least, that's what the owners believe. And I want to pause here, because there's a real debate about whether this skills gap is genuine, or whether it's partly a reflection of what employers are offering. Some argue that if you can't find qualified workers, maybe your wages aren't competitive, or your job requirements are unrealistic for the pay you're offering. Others point to genuine mismatches, especially around technology. The skills the market demands today aren't the skills workers learned 5 years ago. And here's where it gets interesting. According to Robert Hass' 2026 Labor Market Outlook, workers with AI expertise can now command salaries up to 56% higher than their peers. 56%! That's more than double the AI premium from last year. The market is screaming that AI skills have value, and it's willing to pay for them. So if you're a small business owner wondering why you can't find candidates with AI skills, this is why. They're being poached by companies that can pay that premium. And speaking of competition, the NFIB survey analysis notes that large businesses are putting real stress on Main Street firms when it comes to talent. Big companies can offer signing bonuses, remote work flexibility, comprehensive benefits packages. What can a 10-person plumbing company offer against that? Actually, more than you might think, and we'll get to that. But first, let's look at one more piece of this puzzle. Despite all this caution, Robert Half's research shows that 55% of small businesses still plan to expand their permanent teams in the months ahead. So there's optimism, or at least intention. The desire to grow is still there. The question is, how to actually execute it in this environment? One silver lining in the data, wage pressure has actually eased. The ADP employment report shows hourly earnings growth has been below 3% since November 2024. In January 2026, that number was 2.68%. For small businesses feeling squeezed by inflation, that's at least one pressure valve that's released a bit. But slower wage growth doesn't solve the skills problem. You can afford to pay people if you could just find the right ones to pay. So, let's talk solutions. And I want to be clear here. Every business is different, so run your specific situation by an accountant or HR advisor before making big moves. But some patterns are worth paying attention to. First, audit your job postings. If you're in that 87% getting few or no qualified applicants, something's misaligned, either your requirements or your compensation, probably both. Ask yourself, would I apply for this job at this pay rate? If the honest answer is no, you found your problem. Second, and this is important, Consider that 56% AI premium. You might think you need to hire someone with AI skills, but think about the math. Training your current employees in AI tools might cost you a few $1,000s and some time. Hiring someone who already has those skills could cost you 56% more every year, forever. Now, your mileage will vary here. Some roles genuinely need experienced AI practitioners from day one. But for many small businesses, growing the talent you already have tends to be more sustainable. Third, rethink the full-time assumption. In uncertain times, contractors and fractional workers can give you flexibility without long-term commitment. Need a bookkeeper, but not 40 hours a week? There's a fractional CFO for that. Need marketing expertise without a full-time salary? Consultants exist for exactly this reason. The employee versus contractor decision has tax implications and legal considerations. Definitely talk to a professional about what's right for your situation. But the option exists, and more businesses are using it. Fourth, and I know this sounds obvious, but it matters. Speed up your hiring process. When you do find a good candidate, move fast, like really fast. Large companies have entire recruiting teams. They can make offers in days. If your process takes 3 weeks of, "We'll get back to you," you've already lost. Decide quickly. Make an offer quickly. Communicate clearly throughout. The best candidates are fielding multiple opportunities. You're competing for their attention. Fifth, consider the hire for attitude, train for skills approach. Research suggests this works particularly well in technology-adjacent roles where the landscape keeps changing anyway. Find someone smart, eager, and coachable. Teach them what they need to know. Yes, it's an investment, but you end up with someone loyal who knows your systems exactly. One more thing the data shows, benefits matter more than ever. Insurance cost remains the top concern for owners, and increasingly, it's a deal breaker for candidates too. If you can offer health insurance, even a partial contribution, you're more competitive than you might realize. Many small businesses assume they can't afford it, but there are group plans designed specifically for small employers now. I'm not saying it's cheap, insurance is genuinely expensive, but when competing against larger employers, benefits often matter more than raw salary numbers. Something to consider. And one final thought. If you found any of this helpful, hit subscribe. We put out new episodes like this regularly. Now, let's bring this back to the bigger picture. Here's the truth about 2026. The labor market isn't broken, it's recalibrating. Skills are shifting faster than training programs can keep up. AI has accelerated what used to take decades, and small businesses, nimble as they are, still need time to adapt to that new reality. The paradox we started with, jobs exist, people exist, but they're not connecting, isn't permanent. It's a friction point, and friction points create opportunity for those who know how to navigate them. Your advantage as a small business isn't competing on salary. You probably won't win that game. Your advantage is flexibility, speed, the ability to make decisions without 12 layers of approval. You can offer a candidate something big companies can't: direct access to leadership, visible impact, and the chance to shape something rather than maintain it. The candidate who wants that exists. They're not looking for a job, they're looking for a mission, and that's exactly what you have to offer. The hiring freeze paradox is real, but it's not a wall. It's a filter. The businesses that figure out how to navigate it will come out stronger on the other side. Audit your postings. Upskill your team. Move fast when opportunity appears. And remember, you're not alone in this. 32% of your fellow business owners are fighting the same battle. This has been Small Business Signals. This content is for educational and informational purposes only and doesn't constitute financial advice. Always consult with a qualified advisor before making significant business decisions. Next week, the 3 metrics every small business should track that most don't. Until then, keep watching the signals. Remember, this content is for informational purposes only and is not financial advice.